This is the evening news for today, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2014. I'm Michael Young. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. UG Vice Chancellor says crisis may ensue if cuts to the entity's budget are not reversed as loans program remains in limbo. GECOM's deputy CEO bows out, opts not to renew contract. The BBC says opposition reducing Amerindians to second-class citizens. And man murders brother, hides body at Caneville home. Let's get right into tonight's top stories. Alexis Rodney joins us to report that Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Professor Jacob Obadiah, says that a crisis situation may ensue at the tertiary institution if the decision to axe the budgetary allocations is not reversed. In this exclusive report, you'll hear that the loan service is currently in limbo and hundreds of students may be affected. Details in this report.
Vice Chancellor of Guyana's premier university, Professor Jacob Obadiah, says that the situation is troubling since thousands of university students will be directly affected if the parliamentary opposition refuses to reconsider the decision. Professor Obadiah explained that the situation is further made complicated as the loans to students are offered on a yearly basis. He said if something is not urgently done about the situation, some 3,500 students will not be able to enroll in the university at the new academic year.
In real term, that is over 50% of our students will be so affected. If we do not have that income to come in, it has implication whether we'll be able to hire our staff and retain our staff. So we start looking at if this is real, it means it may affect our staffing and also our other overheads that we carry. So I do feel that this incident is a wake-up call for us to look at how do we fund the university.
The university cannot fund itself, Obadiah remarked. Neither can it base its existence on trying to predict what will happen in the National Assembly.
The university should be able to guarantee its fund upfront. And I'm talking about guarantee its fund well advance of the year so that we can do proper budgeting and planning. So here we submitted the budget for this year. The budget is based on expected numbers of students and the income that we're going to get. If the 450 million is subtracted from that, then we really have to find out whether we should really close down shop.
Obadiah stressed that the educational institution is not interested in the politics of the day. What holds its interest is the $450 million allocation, which, if not approved by the opposition, will render severe consequences. He has therefore made a simple plea to the opposition to reconsider its decision. The Vice Chancellor reminded that plans are still in place to increase the tuition fees since the current rate is inadequate to support the university in real terms. He pointed out that the university is looking at staff promotion, among other things. This calamity, he lamented, is injurious.
This is why this issue of the non-approval of the budget is a concern for the students. Okay, but certainly we are going to make moves to make sure that our fees is increased one way or the other. And students have to start looking at how do they finance their education under these circumstances.
Last week, the combined parliamentary opposition voted against funding for several finance ministry programs, including the $450 million allocation to the University of Guyana for student loans. Over the years, a vast majority of the student population at the country's tertiary institution benefited from student loans, and a large percentage of new entries continue to apply for this facility. Reported for the evening news, I'm Alexis Rodney.
Deputy Chief Elections Officer Calvin Ben has officially indicated his desire not to renew his employment contract with the Guyana Elections Commission, citing some serious health and personal concerns. Details in this report.
Chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission, Dr. Steve Sturge Bali, today denied reports that Deputy Chief Elections Officer Calvin Ben has resigned from his post at the Commission. He said that he was aware that the DCO was on leave and opted not to comment further. This newscast learned today, however, that Ben had indicated that he is not desirous of renewing his contract with the Commission and will be vacating his post. It was also revealed that Ben had cited some personal and health issues when he indicated to the Commission that he will not be seeking to continue his service beyond July 31 this year. Further investigation also revealed that an official from within GECOM will be appointed to act as the Deputy Chief Elections Officer until someone new is appointed. The Commission is set to meet sometime next week when commissioners will discuss the appointment. Ben had applied for the post of Chief Elections Officer of GECOM and subsequently withdrew his application citing personal reason. Keith Lowenfield was eventually appointed to the post.
A Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change are now being accused of attempting to reduce the indigenous population in Guyana to second-class citizens. This is according to the People's Progressive Party Civics General Secretary Clement Rohi. Svetlana Marshall was at the press conference today and she filed this report.
The People's Progressive Party Civic PPPC today sought another opportunity to criticize and bombard the joint parliamentary opposition over its move to disapprove the $1.1 billion budgeted for Amerindian development. Speaking at Freedom House earlier today, PPPC's General Secretary Clement Rohi opined that the opposition is attempting to reduce Amerindians to second-class citizens because of their support for the government.
The PPP has consistently held the view that Amerindians under the previous PNC regime were reduced to second-class citizens and were denied their basic fundamental rights, which included the right to quality education, quality health care, employment opportunities, and recreational facilities. It is quite evident from the actions taken by the combined opposition that they are bent on repeating their past performance, namely to starve Amerindians of developmental funds and to stultify their material and cultural advance.
Rohi boasted that in today's society, Amerindians are incorporated into mainstream development, with many of them joining the medical field, the Ghana Defence Force, the Ghana Police Force, and the Teaching Service Commission, among other areas. The GS told reporters that Amerindians ought to be applauded for their militant stance against the acts of the opposition. According to him, the refusal of the combined parliamentary opposition to disapprove money allocated for Amerindian development is outrageous and unconscionable.
The PPP calls on the opposition parties to desist from playing politics with the lives and well-being of our Amerindian and hinterland communities. As a party and government, we are proud of our track record in terms of raising the profile of our Amerindian people and in bringing their communities into the mainstream of national development.
He recalled that after occupying the office in October 1992, the PPP administration moved to establish an Amerindian Affairs Ministry and subsequently appointed an Amerindian Affairs Minister. Rohi made it clear that the PPP will continue to support Amerindian development despite the many challenges.
Thanks, Svetlana. The two Jamaican nationals intercepted with the compressed marijuana at the Chedijagan International Airport are expected to be charged tomorrow. According to Police Public Relations Officer Ivola Whitaker, investigations were conducted and the duo is expected to be charged and placed before the court. On Monday morning at around 7 hours, ranks of the police narcotics branch at the Chedijagan International Airport were conducting routine searches on the luggage of a male and female Jamaican who were on board an incoming Fly Jamaica flight from the island. During the search, the ranks unearthed a total of 28 kilograms of compressed marijuana. The duo was taken into custody as investigations were launched. In this report, we hear that a 40-year-old laborer was hacked to death by his brother, who hid his body for 2 days at their Caneville Grove home. Details in this story.
It was a tragedy Easter Sunday when a heated argument between Jairam Tekaram and his brother resulted in the aforementioned being dealt several chops about his body and subsequently dying. When this newscast visited the scene of the murder, neighbors related that the men usually drink and spit venomous words at each other, but it never reached such a level.
Nisho lived by Janko.
There was two brothers.
Two brothers lived together.
Both of them was drink rum, fighting every time. And Sunday night come home drunk and he gone home and sleep. Meisho come home drunk, gone home and sleep. The other brother come home about 1 o'clock in the morning. Monday morning. Start beating me. Come out the house, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. And chopping up this Bible. People believe he broadside in me. The neighbors hearing. Got 2 cutlass in hand and not when he done kill the bag.
Because when we wake up and I look by the window of the bag there, I see at the front there, by in front of the door, by lay down, and he got this 2 cutlass, a lashy, but me, you know, say, well, a choppy, you know, but a lashy me. Choppy me.
Now,
by that was lashy.
They said that they saw the altercation between the 2 brothers but did not realize that the man was being chopped by his brother.
Now when they finish now, he wake up in the morning, nobody no realize, well, he kill this boy and cover this boy down there. He wake up, he doing normal thing and gone to work. Come back last night, cook, eat. And that boy there and there down there, nobody
no, because really nobody don't check on him.
Then this morning now, when we wake up, she husband come out to pick a guava, he get the bag there, like he just cover the body. And then we call the police and that was it.
Reports indicate that the 2 brothers lived in a home along with another person who is yet to be located. The accused brother is in police custody assisting with investigations.
Coming up on the other side of the break, the inquiry hearings into Dr. Walter Rodney's death to commence next week. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're tuned to the Evening News. Paul Branson was slapped with 5 charges when he appeared before the Chief Magistrate, Priya Bahari, in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. The 29-year-old pleaded not guilty to the first charge, which read that on April 17, 2014 in Charlestown, he was found in possession of 5 live 1.54 rounds of ammunition without a license, while the second charge read that on the same day he was found in possession of a 1.54 Smith & Wesson pistol. He, however, pleaded guilty to this charge. The third and fourth charges allege that Branson, with the intent to commit murder, discharged a loaded firearm at Dion Gibson and Alaric Edwards. He was not required to plead to either of these charges. And the final charge against this Kitty resident was an attempted robbery on the arms charge. It is alleged that on the same day Branson attempted to rob Rafik Singh. He was not required to plead to this charge. The defendant, who was unrepresented, is a minor, and told the court that he has no previous brushes with the law. Police prosecutor Michael Grant objected to bail, and Branson was remanded until April 9, 2014, when statements will be read. Head of the Walter Rodney Secretariat, Hugh Denenbaugh, has confirmed that the commencement of the Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry has now been set for April 28, with some major agencies topping the list of witnesses. More details from Alexis Rodney.
The Commission's chairman, Barbadian Queen's Counsel Sir Richard Cheltenham, had initially announced that the inquiry will begin the day after Easter. However, new information from the Secretariat suggests that there have been a few changes. According to the Secretariat's chairman, Hugh Denenbaugh, the unavailability of the 3 commissioners at this time is among the reasons why the new date has been given. Denenbaugh told this newscast that the 2 bodies had met on a conference call early last week and had come to an agreement that the April 28th shift would have been the ideal date. The Secretariat's head explained that the Commission's chairman had never confirmed the April 22 date, but instead had signaled that the commission was working to begin on this date. He said, however, that the new date is definite. Meanwhile, Denbow told this newscast that the Secretariat has adequate witnesses and evidence. He said the Secretariat is tasked with determining who will first testify at the inquiry, stressing that there are individuals and entities that must testify. These include the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Defense Force, and the Director of Public Prosecution, among others. He said the police force is providing the much-needed cooperation on the matter. Denbow said that the Secretariat will then have to look at the post-mortem examination results, and this will require witnesses from the DPP and the hospital. He noted too that many witnesses from overseas who were here during the time of Rodney's death have indicated their interest in returning to testify. The Walter Rodney COI, comprising the 3 commissioners, will meet for the first few days on April 28th to May 2. The aim of the inquiry will be to examine the facts and the circumstances immediately, prior, at the time of, and subsequent to the death of Dr. Rodney, and who or what was responsible for the explosion which resulted in his death. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
Sean Davis, a vendor of 164 Charlotte Street, Georgetown, today appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Anne McLennan on 2 counts of robbery. The first charge read that on March 6, 2014 in Georgetown, the 43-year-old man, along with other unknown persons, robbed Rupchan Mirage of 1 gold chain valued at $300,000, while the second charge read that on April 16, 2014 at Kroll Street, he robbed Amelisa Ross of 1 gold chain valued at $150,000. Davis, who was unrepresented, was not required to plead to either of the indictable charges. However, Police Prosecutor Denero Jones requested the matter stand trial in the Magistrates Court as opposed to the High Court, and the defendant was given a plea. He then pleaded not guilty to both of the offences. Prosecutor Jones objected to bail, citing that the defendant has similar matters in other courts. The defendant, however, interjected and denied such, stating that this is his first charge and he has had no previous brushes with the law. Davis was remanded to prison and the matter was adjourned until May 8, 2014, when statements will be read. Join us on the other side of the break for more news. Welcome back. You're tuned to the Evening News. 8 motorcycles were purchased through the Ministry of Public Works for the Guyana Police Force to strengthen its traffic capability, a release from the ministry said. The Works Services Group, a department that falls under the purview of the ministry, paid over $14 million for the motorcycles and their spare parts. According to Jeffrey Vaughan, coordinator of the Works Services Group, the procurement is part of the Road Safety Traffic Maintenance Department, which is tasked with utilizing some of its international funding to plan, implement, and execute various projects which are aimed at addressing safety issues on our road network, including the safety and monitoring of the roadways. Minister of Public Works Rupson Ben will hand over the motorcycles to the police by the end of the month. Tons of refuse lined several streets of Georgetown up to late Tuesday morning following the Easter Monday activities around the seawalls and the parks. Details from Gomati Gangadin.
As was predicted, vendors and citizens indiscriminately dumped their garbage on the roadways, leaving a sea of plastic bottles, bags, drink cans, and other debris. The streams of litter started from Ogle and snaked its way straight along the East Coast Highway to the Bandstand-Kingston area. The Guyana Defense Force headquarters at Camp Ayangana could not defend its lawns from the wanton dumping of refuse on it. Additionally, the Jovera Park, situated just over the Damarara Harbour Bridge, was flooded flooded with debris also. The presence of the garbage has left persons with questions on their minds as to why a more proactive approach was not taken to clean up the city during and immediately after the Easter festivities. Town Clerk Carol Suba, at the commencement of sale of the vending spots, had stated that the spots were being sold to generate financial resources, which will then be used to clear the large amounts of garbage which would be generated during all of the activities. For the Evening News, Gomati Gangadin.
Thanks, Gomati. Today, Mark Denny and Dexter Class were charged separately for the possession of cannabis after they appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before the Chief Magistrate, Priya Behari. It is alleged that on April 14, 2014, Denny was found in possession of 3 grams of cannabis, while Class was found in possession of 1 gram of cannabis on April 17, 2014 in Old Boys Town. The men, who were both unrepresented, pleaded not guilty to the charge and told the court that they have had no previous troubles with the law. Denny, who is a 38-year-old Old Boys Town resident, is a mason by profession, and Class, who is unemployed, were both fined $3,000 and ordered to serve 6 months community service, for which they are required to report to the Rheinfeldt police station at specified times. The 4-lane highways on the east coast and east bank of Demerara are to be completed by this year end. More details from Gabriela Patram.
Chief Works Officer of the Public Works Ministry, Godfrey Vaughan, says critical works on the East Bank and East Coast 4-lane highways are expected to be completed by the end of 2014. He explained that the East Coast leg of works is divided into 7 lots.
At present that we're doing the preliminary works, which is the construction of the drains and the widening. In Lot 1 and Lot 2, which is Dipcon, works are progressing. They're approximately putting the 2 lots together. We have approximately 75% completed. There's still some amount of work needed to be done on some of the lots because we're still having the issues with stone. Some contractors have written to us about the shortage of stone in terms of getting stones to do the concrete mix. But we're pressing to ensure that these contractors, as you know, can import stone if the needs arise, and that is one of the things the ministry has been stressing so that we can reduce the amount of delays that we're having on these projects in terms of shortage of stone. Lot 3 and 4 basically is Courtney Bend and CompuStruct, and they have restarted their works there, and we're hoping that they will pull through at least by June, July. We should be able to have that area wrapped up. Lot 5 being Dipcon again, and they're approximately 85% complete on Lot 5, which is right by Monrepo. And then we have Lot 6 and Lot 7, which is Colin Talbert. He basically substantially completed on Lot 6, and he's now approximately 45 to 50% on Lot 7, which is a new lot that has recently been awarded to him.
He said once the issues with the utility companies are out of the way, the contractors will have no excuse for timely completion of the work. Meanwhile, the East Bank 4-lane highway has seen major works done in the last few months.
The East Bank 4-lane project is divided into 3 lots, Lot 1, 2, and 3, with 3 contractors, which is Dipcon being in Lot 1, Geico being in Lot 2, and BK International being in Lot 3. To date, what we have seen is in Lot 1, they're approximately 45% completed, Lot 2 being approximately 49%, and Lot 3 being between 35 to 40% completed. In Lot 1, as you would have known, that for the 3 lots we would have had some hiccups in terms of utilities, which we were able to actually iron out.
Additionally, he highlighted that the road upgrade from Annandale to Belfield on the east coast of Demerara will commence soon. The contractors have already been shortlisted and consultancy will open soon. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
You're tuned to the Evening News. More news after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is the evening news. The newly appointed CEO for Liat Airlines took office today and vowed to improve the services of the airlines. Details in this story.
The newly appointed CEO of Liat, David Evans, arrived from the United Kingdom on Sunday with a promise to listen to staff to determine how to improve the regional carrier. The new CEO stated that the years he has spent in the airline business have taught him that there is no monopoly of wisdom in the CEO's office. The Liat chief executive underscored the value of listening to staff because they are the ones who are the closest to the customers. Leveraging his experience working in 14 countries in over 4 continents, Evans stressed that communication will be central to Liat, both internally with his staff and externally with the traveling public, but added he will be staying true to the mantra of keeping it simple and avoid overcomplicated messages. Evans is a result-driven executive with more than 35 years of experience in senior roles within the aviation industry. He speaks 5 different languages and holds an MBA in business administration from Lancaster University. For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
Recommendations made by U.S. experts to address deficiencies in the 911 system are still being reviewed, Home Affairs Minister Clement Rohi disclosed today. Details in this Svetlana Marshall report.
Home Affairs Minister Clement Rohi today at a press conference said that 3 recommendations were made by U.S. experts to improve the 911 system. He pointed out that one of the recommendations would be to integrate all emergency lines into one.
That is emergency fire, emergency prison, emergency police, emergency GPL. That is one suggestion, actually. Integrate all into one number.
The U.S. experts also proposed that the entire 911 system be reviewed. However, Rohi stated that this would be a very costly initiative.
Review of the entire system in the country. Now, the problem here is that there's only one telephone service that has that we can work with here. That's GT&T. We got Digicel, owing to the monopoly that GT&T enjoys, doesn't provide landline services. And while a person would be able to make a call from a cell phone, the call has to still go through a landline because the 911 instrument would be a landline.
In March, 2 experts from the U.S. arrived in Guyana to assess the efficiency of the emergency system after Cabinet approved more than $20,000 to facilitate the initiative. Over the years, numerous complaints have been made by Guyanese citizens about the unreliability of the 911 emergency system. Only recently, there was a robbery in Kitty where victims tried to get help by dialing 911, but all attempts proved futile since the lines rang out, as is the norm with most cases.
The Ministry of Public Works will commence and complete several major sea defense projects for 2014 soon, as we hear from Gabriella Patram.
Chief Works Officer of the Public Works Ministry Godfrey Vaughan says major sea defences work will commence soon in Legwan, Wakenham and Essequibo, with the aim of beefing up security in various areas to guard against overtopping caused by high tide.
There are a few projects that are ongoing in terms of sea defences. We're hoping that we should have an award either by this week or sometime next week for the Mosquito Hall area, which has gained the media's attention over the last month or so. And we're hoping that that should be awarded within the next week. So once that is awarded, works will commence immediately. There are some works being completed right now at the Barry in terms of sea defences. We've just completed the works at Good Success on the East Bank. So those are some of the areas which we are focusing on.
Meanwhile, the officer cited some other works currently underway.
We know for a fact that there were always talk about the East Bank Berbice Road, which we know we had some amount of hiccups in terms of the execution. But we have just awarded a contract actually for the design studies of that road. So we're hoping that at least before the year is ended, that we can see some work started on that project.
Vaughan stated that the Public Works Ministry will continue to assess and analyze road and sea defense around the country. For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
Join us in the other side of the break for your sport news. Welcome back. It's now time for a look at what's happening in the world of sport. But first, your headlines. George creates history at Carifta Games. GCB double-wicket cricket build for May 3 and 4. And softball finals for the DCC ground on Saturday. Our sportscast is brought to you with the kind compliments of Macor.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. And that is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Macor, let's build Guyana together.
Just one day after defending her 1500 meters crown, double Carifta gold medalist Cassie George became the first Guyanese to grab 2 gold medals at the same edition of the Games, which concluded on Monday in Martinique. After winning the girls under 18 1500 meters on Saturday, George clocked 10:03.27 seconds to easily win the girls open 3000 meters and achieve the historic feat. Meanwhile, Carifta 2014 400 meter gold medalist Cadicia Beard barely missed her second gold medal in the girls under 20 200 meters event. Beard fell just before the line while trying to outdip her opponent for the gold and therefore had to settle for silver. Beard clocked a speedy 23:13 seconds for silver, while Trinidadian Kylie Clark won the gold in a time of 23:10 seconds. Beard's win was the 4th and final medal for Guyana at the event, as the local girls finished 4th in the under 18 4x4 meters in 3:46.23 seconds, thereby missing the podium for the second year running. Jason Yaw also ended without a podium finish in the final of the boys under 18 200 meters, clocking 21:70 seconds for 6th. Jamaica's Chad Walker won the event in 20.99 seconds. With the installation of floodlights, the Albion Sports Complex is expected to be completed by month end. The Guyana Cricket Board has organized a 16-team grand double-wicket cricket competition for May 3 and 4. The competition will cater for both male and female pairs, with both finals scheduled to be played under lights on Sunday, May 4. Entry fee for each male pair is $40,000, while each female pair will pay $10,000. The winning male pair will collect $500,000, with $100,000 on offer for the winning female pair. The male runner-up takes home $200,000 and the female runner-up $50,000. The preliminary round matches will be 4 overs per side, with both players bowling 2 overs. Admission to the venue on Saturday is free. However, adult males will be required to pay $1,000 to enter the ground on Sunday. The 3 category finals of the Guyana Floodlight Softball Cricket Association organized Trophy Stall sponsored male and female softball tournament will be played on Saturday at the DCC ground in Landscape Street, Queenstown. Action will bowl off at 1400 hours, with Floodlights taking on Success in the Masters 2020 final, followed by the female championship game from 1700 hours involving Well Woman and Trophy Stall. That game is slated to be a 10-10 affair. The male open final will crown the day, with action set to get underway at 18:15 hours. 2 of the country's leading softball teams, Wolf Warriors and Regal, will battle for supremacy. As is the norm with all of the competitions organized by the GFSCA, there will be a live commentary of the games at the venue, while there will be musical entertainment beyond the boundary. Admission to the venues is $200 per person, while vehicles and parking inside the ground will attract a fee of $500. Your bridge reports are next. You're watching the Evening News.
believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Mark on. Let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. It's now time for a look at your bridge reports. The Damara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Wednesday, April 23 at 12 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. The Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Wednesday, April 23 at 11:20 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. That's your Tuesday, April 22 edition of the Evening News. I'm Michael Young, thanking you very much for joining us and encouraging you to do join us tomorrow for more news. Goodbye.